Hello, good evening. So we're sitting here I'm here in the dark. I'm not sitting at the moment, but we're here in the dark, autumn evening in the UK. The rest of the video is going to be in darkness with just my voice, because I'm going to be sat in my armchair and it's in a little alcove and it's dark. Okay. Now, there's a button. So this is my first video in telling people that I acknowledge my enlightenment. Yes. An extraordinary thing to be able to hold the chalice of life without spilling a drop. It's an extraordinary feeling to feel that chalice filling up. And that chalice is the chalice of life. Yeah, an extraordinary discovery for me from about 3 days ago. Now, about 6 months ago, I went through a transformation. Started about 6 months, March, beginning of March. And through that transformation, I put my videos up, posts up, videos up, or whatever you call them, sort of to document my travel, but what I didn't document was the end result, which is what I'm talking to you about now. You hear that the transformation takes around about 6 months, and that's what I found, because we're at about 6 months now. I'm 47 now, and for 47 years I've struggled, really struggled with all the aspects that life and other humans bring to me, to you, to everybody. Now, it's really weird that, throughout my life, I've known that there's more, there's something more, not to to everything, not to anything. Just that, a feeling that there's more for me in this world. And I had that from a child, and it's never ever left me. Even before this, and I do a lot of research to validate my own experiences. I have done a tremendous amount of research, and I do follow the way of the will, which is often talked about. I'm not going to say that they're great people, because they're just human beings, but like myself, and they have just found that chalice. I think some of them don't realise what it is that they're holding, but it is the chalice of life. Spiritual ease. I'm thinking specifically of a man called Sadhguru, who spends a lot of time in America, Indian man, from that continent. So I'm not sure if they know exactly what they hold, because they just talk and don't actually show you anything really. It is sort of giving you one piece of a jigsaw puzzle almost. And how are you supposed to find something if you've only got one piece of a jigsaw? How are you supposed to know what the whole picture is? But they go through their own experience, and a lot of their stuff has validated my stuff. And there's, you've got things like the Vedic texts, which, a lot of people from that Indian continent, live by. And it talks about the way of the will through there, and, throughout, and being at one with life. And you get the same in, I think is it China, Tao Te Ching, which is the way of the will. And it's extraordinary, I've got to say. So how do you accomplish it? I mean, for me, it was a flood for me. I had a moment of realisation and an acceptance that I didn't know anything, how to proceed, but I had to proceed because I was still breathing. So obviously life is still to be led. So what do I then do? And from that moment of realisation, should we just say that my head exploded? I don't know what went on for 2 weeks, but 2 weeks later I was stood at my front door and realised that I need to start documenting these experiences that I'm having, and continue writing, because I'd just started writing at that point, and write my thoughts down and things like that. The rest is pretty well documented on Facebook. I think it's important to note that from my childhood, I didn't identify with my parents, and I was left to lead my own life. Now, that life turned out to be very chaotic. Lots of drugs, lots of crime, lots of bad attitude and bad behaviour. And you call it bad, but it was behaviour that was set off, and patterns then became ingrained in me. So the life really wasn't my own. I wasn't really making choices for myself. And but throughout all that, I didn't really identify with my parents, that I felt like they abandoned me, and pretty much the same as society, abandonment, telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing, how I should and shouldn't live my life, and I didn't agree. And for that, my path then got set down a criminal route, and then a drug route, and the end result of that was finding a little salvation in a rehabilitation centre and learning about the practice of doing things for yourself in a positive nature. And it had been the first time that really I'd ever made contact with another human or other humans and allowed to have been taught something. And they taught me under the influence of friendship and knowledge and understanding. And because of that, I was acceptable of it, because I knew, because they were coming from the right place, it felt nice. So I was receptive. So I come out of that rehabilitation, spent over 10 years clean, and then, patterns and things, because of no understanding of patterns of behaviour and things like that, the in-depth knowledge of it. Family unit split up and it destroyed me. I carried on for a while, but relapsed into drug addiction, eventual homelessness and prison, and homelessness and drugs, and 6 years down the line, here I am today. Now, at the end of all that, I was addicted, living in a tent by the river, suffering, really. Been through one of the hardest winters I'd ever been through, and got 2 children out of that family unit who were about 10, about 8 at the time. And I thought, what on earth am I doing again? I've had 20 years and more of this. Drugs, living in tent, living on the road. Am I going back to it? Because I could feel myself reverting to a nasty individual again, nasty behaviours. So I decided, no, I ain't doing it. So I got myself a little bit of an activity on an allotment, and for the next year I just devoted my time to that, and some safe friends that didn't use, and devoted myself to that for a year. Then met a woman, and began a relationship. Now, a year into that relationship, I was sat in the front room and could feel it all coming to an end, just like the family unit did, and other times in my life. And I could see the eventual relapse, living on the street and going back to that same circle. And that realisation there, and the realisation that I didn't want it, set me up for where I am now, which is an enlightened being. And I don't say that lightly. There's many things to come from this. So that's my first video then. I'm going to talk about the practices and the devices of the human body that you're given in other videos. In the daytime, in the light. But I think that'll do for now. Okay. I wish you well. Stay tuned. And any questions, post them. And you have a very, very good evening. Good night.